the topic I am supposed to speak on existentialism and literature. Primarily I will focus on how existentialism came into being. I will begin with what Karl Marx said. Karl Marx said that the philosophers have interpreted the world in various ways. The question is to change it. The very philosophy of literature or philosophy of social sciences or even philosophy of life, we get to know that or we are confronted with the major problems of existence. What is existentialism? Existentialism is philosophy of existence. And in our existence, we face so many problems. And then we feel that whether my existence really matters. Such questions every now and then arise in our mind. I'll begin with what Edmund Husserl said about existence or the very being a human being in his phenomenology. That is the major work by Husserl, Edmund Husserl, the German philosopher. And we will find that he particularly focus on consciousness, human experiences, how the world appears to us. And he particularly is talking about human agency which is autonomous. He feels that human agency is autonomous, and through perceptions we understand the world. Through all our senses we understand the world. And the most important thing what he is saying, that the world is not constructed already. We through our senses construct the world. So it is all about pure experiences that you have. And from this, Martin Heidegger, one of the most important existentialists, he tried to change the very concept of Edmund Husserl. Edmund Husserl happens to be his teacher, but then to some extent he agrees with Edmund Husserl, but he disagrees with him. He said that it is not all about our existence, our experiences, but we are thrown into the world. It means that you have yourself, and then you have the world in which you enter into, and you have to interact with the world. He is talking about being in itself, being for itself. Being in itself means so many things are there which may not have consciousness. Many things are there. They do not have consciousness, but human being has. He is talking about two concepts. Again, facticity. Facticity means the world in which we live. We are tied to our history also. History you cannot deny, that is the fact. The world in which we are thrown into, that is also the fact. And we have to interact with the world. And another concept he is talking about temporality. Temporality means time in which we live. So it's all about our past, present and future. The past and present you cannot deny, and the future you always try to move towards. You always in the process of becoming, from being to becoming. We are not what we are, and what we are, not we are. It means that we always try to be someone else or something else. So very self is very dynamic. The self is very dynamic. And this self, his book, very important book, Being and Time, temporality I talked about. I talked about past, present and future. How future and past shape the present. Even if we live in the present, but we try to be in future. You try to take present in future. That is temporality. Facticity I talked about. But the most important for me particularly is Jean-Paul Sartre. Jean-Paul Sartre is talking about being and nothingness. Being and nothingness. And this being, as I said, this is simply being there. Heidegger is talking about becoming. And Jean-Paul Sartre here is talking about nothingness. So nothingness means what? Because later on, the post-modernists, they try to deconstruct all these phenomenology and existentialism, all these two philosophies later on, that I am going to explain later. But then, what we have to think about is, you are autonomous, you are completely independent, and your mind is blank slate. It is nothing, zero. And from here only, you have to build up. You do not inherit anything from past. You do not inherit anything from your parents also. You are completely zero, and as you enter into this world, you have to give meaning to the world, you have to give meaning to your own existence. So he says that since you are nothing, you have n number of choices. We have n number of choices, so many choices. You can be anything you want to become. So these choices are ultimate freedom that human being is endowed with. And Jean-Paul Sartre particularly denied the existence of anything that is divine. He does not believe in that. He does not believe that this world or the divine has specific design for you. Nothing is predetermined and nothing is preordained. Nothing is decided for you by anybody, not even by the society, not even by your parents, and not even by the God. So you completely are autonomous individual with completely independent agency. Your own feelings, your own emotions, your own thought process. But then, in reality, in actuality, what do we find? In our day-to-day experiences, we find that we do not make choices. We do not make choices. Our choices are made by somebody else. This is the kind of contradiction what Jean-Paul Sartre is saying and what we actually experience in our day-to-day life. And there are many reasons for that. You cannot completely isolate yourself from society. You cannot completely isolate yourself from the culture in which you are born and you grow up. You cannot completely isolate yourself from the influence of your...
Determinism. It suggests that every action is merely the result of prior causes, like bio...
But then, human beings do not make choices. They do not make choices because with choices comes responsibility. Once you said that, somebody said you are completely free. You can decide your course of life. You decide what you want to do. Then nobody there to support you. Nobody there to stand by you. And whatever you will be doing, you will be responsible for, you will be responsible completely for the consequences of the choices you will be making. And therefore, despite having freedom, we do not make choices. We tend to say that, okay, you make choices for me. You decide for me. Parents, they decide what I would like, they don't care about what I would be, I would like to become. But they decide that you will be engineer, you will be doctor, you will be teacher, you will be, okay, this and that. And that is easy for us. And even if you fail, you will not blame yourself, rather you will blame our parents. It's okay, you said that I tried to do it, I failed. On my failure, I am not individually responsible, but you are responsible. Many people are fatalists. They do not make, a kind of, significant mark in their life. So naturally we find even today, even the intellectuals, highly educated people saying that everything is predetermined. Everything is decided by God Himself. God has decided. Whatever I am today, it is decided by God. So I do not have to do anything for that. I am poor because God wanted me to be poor. If I am not successful, God wanted that I will not be successful. You should not be successful. So this is the problem, particularly for Jean-Paul Sartre, because his life is very, challenging. Our life is very interesting, I would rather say. You might know Simone de Beauvoir and Jean-Paul Sartre. Lifetime they lived together and did not get married. Because once you get married, your responsibility, you get tied to it. And many things, what you want to do, you cannot do it. In relationship, you can anytime walk away. You can maintain each other. I am not supporting that point. I am not. Otherwise, you would say that this is what Jean-Paul Sartre did throughout his life.
ऐसे कोई बुरा भी नहीं है. Illusion of freedom.
But then they lived together throughout, and they respected each other's individuality. The most important concept in existentialism is authenticity. Authenticity. You see, each one of us, we do not live authentic life. Authentic, I mean, what you really feel like, what you really feel like doing, what you really feel like becoming. We seem to be mere puppets. You see, you closely observe your life. Are you doing what you really want to do? Am I doing what I really want to do? Whether I really wanted to be the professor, whether I really wanted to be an engineer, whether I really wanted to be a teacher, you ask anybody. their answer might be contrary otherwise. So people have something different in their mind. What we think and what we do, we find a kind of contradiction between your thinking and doing. There is contradiction. And therefore, many times you will experience or you are confronted with the question, the very fundamental question, who am I? What am I? Really my existence has meaning. Do my existence or does my existence have meaning? Our existence is like, the kind of routine that we follow each day. It is just like, inanimate objects which have no meaning outside. Similarly, you see yourself, many times we follow the same routine. Getting up early, going to office, coming back, eating, and then sleeping, getting up tomorrow. So, is that really an existence? And therefore, there is another word he using, bad faith. Bad faith. We all live in bad faith. Means we are thinking, we are doing what you do not want to do, what you do not want to think. And therefore, postmodernists, particularly Derrida and Michel Foucault, all these postmodernists, including Deleuze, they criticize existentialism and existentialism. Because we have, two streams of knowledge, particularly to understand this world. One is empiricism and another is rationalism. How will we know the reality is? What is the reality? How can we decide? How can we verify what the reality is? How can I say that my existence has meaning? If you ask all these questions, you will find that there is no answer. Nobody will give you the answer. How can you say that my existence has meaning? And as I said that I will deal with some of the characters, how they live in bad faith and ultimately they have a kind of epiphany, a sudden realization. No, it's not simply about existing in the world, but to create meaning in the world. To create meaning for yourself and create meaning for others. It's all about commitment and the responsibilities after. So, you will find some of the characters like, one is Annie, then Robert, Henry, Willie. And this Henry and Robert are two best friends. They are highly intellectuals. The Robert wanted to be the writer, Henry is journalist. And we talking about continental philosophy, Germany and France. And during Second World War, you might know if you are the student of history, France was captured by Germany. Germany was about to capture Russia and even Britain. But then the things suddenly changed. And France became independent from German occupation. And after Second World War, we know two powers came up, emerged, you can say, America and Russia. So the people who are influenced by Marxist philosophy or Marxism, these are four characters. Annie, who is married, but later on she feels that what kind of existence I am living, what kind of existence I am living. in marital life, after having children also, she finds that she is not her authentic self. And then she drifts towards one of the writer in America, and she fell in love with him. But after that also she realizes that the man who I married and the man I am in love with are the same stuff. They are the same stuff, no change. As far as the way they treat women, they think about women, they are the same. It is about Mandarin's by Simone de Beauvoir novel. And she comes back and she is into so much frustration, she is so disappointed, she is so disillusioned, she wanted to commit suicide. But later on, she hears the voice of her daughter in another room, and suddenly she again gets a kind of realization, and she says that no, I should not commit suicide. My life is not for myself, but my life is for others also. This is the sense of commitment or responsibility, which is one of the elements in existentialism. So it's not simply making choices and making life meaningful, your own life meaningful, but to contribute significantly to the society also. Similar things happen in case of these two characters I talked about, Henry and Robert. They are highly intellectual people, but as said, they were influenced by Marxism. And Russia, known for that, they talked about the liberation of the working classes, as Marx said. All the workers of the world unite and fight against capitalism. So they are in dilemma, because we people are always in dilemma and we do not know what I am doing or what I am thinking is really right, whether I am doing the right thing. On the one hand, they had to support Russia because there was Nazi occupation of France. They wanted to get rid of Nazi Germany. So they were helped by Russia and they were for the working classes. The dilemma is that in the camp of Russia, the condition of the labor camp, so wretched, so miserable. As a reporter, journalist, Henry wanted to write against Russian government. Robert is also there. Two people thinking out the same subject in different way. Robert said that no, you cannot write against Russia, because if you write against Russia, you will be writing against the entire global labor movement. It will weaken the global labor movement. It will weaken. So you do not write, because the things are temporary, the things will change later, and the condition of the laborer who are in the camp will transform, because this is temporary. But he said that, Henry says, is it what you really feel like? Should we do it? Should we not write against the Russian people, Russian government? If we do not write in a realistic manner as the writer or the journalist, we are not authentic to ourselves. So we will be living in bad faith. So many times it happens, we cannot make choice, and out of compulsion of the circumstances, we take turns, and we all live in that way, bad faith. Albert Camus, myth of Sisyphus. Everyone knows myth of Sisyphus, Greek mythology. Just as I said, our existence, does our existence really matter? Is there any divine purpose for our existence? or for what do we live? These are the fundamental questions everyone and every day we ask ourselves. Sisyphus every day doing the same thing. He just pushed up the boulder to the hill to fall it down to the bottom. And again he is doing the same. Every time, every day he push up, it comes down, again he push it up. Our life, that myth of Sisyphus is nothing but allegory for human existence. We are doing the same thing. We are not doing any different. Same thing. But ultimately, existentialism, as I said, is not about simply making choices. We live in a world, being in itself, being for itself, and being for others. We have responsibilities towards society. Responsibility towards society. Man cannot live in isolation. We are social animal. Plato said we are political animal. So we have to make choices, and making choices very difficultly. And we are not sure about the consequences of the choices that we make. So ultimately, my point is, even Sartre realizes, Sartre is the writer who did not accept Nobel Prize for Literature. You know, the most prestigious award. He did not accept because he did not want to be confined by any kind of institutions. When you accept it, you have to just conform to their norms. Many times, if I accept government's award, you cannot speak against the government, and that will be living in bad category. The basic philosophical questions is to know the purpose of our life. Is there any purpose in life? Is there am I the part of any grand scheme? Can I construct something that is meaningful? Roquentin, one of the character of Sartre, he is historian, freelance historian, and he just visiting the libraries, talking to the people, collecting material. He wanted to write something, taking notes, and one day he finds that by walking on the beach or walking along the beach, he finds some pebbles. He asks himself whether these pebbles have any purpose to exist. He looked at the tree, chestnut tree, and then a big roots out of the ground. He asks again whether those roots have any purpose to exist. Flower, fragrant flower, does that flower itself has any purpose? That it has purpose for us, but the flower itself has no purpose. The sun is shining, the sun has no intention that it will give us light. When it rains, it has no intention that it will make the land fertile and we will have a kind of what we call harvest. They themselves have no purpose. Similarly, we think about human existence. For others, you are non-existent. for others? Do I really matter for you? I exist in myself. But for you, does I matter? Do I matter? Sorry. Do I matter? No. So we are trapped into this very complicated situation. And when we talk about, this consciousness particularly, and all the senses with which we gain knowledge, understanding of which we are not very sure, 100% we are not sure about anything. And that is the reason that what we say, these existentialists or phenomenologists, they said that the human is an autonomous agency, but then the postmodernists completely deny this proposition, You are not autonomous but the product of history. We are the product of history, we are the product of ideology, we are the product of society, and we are the product of culture. So we have already been constructed. Your mind, as they say, existentialism, your mind is a blank slate. Your mind is not blank slate. Once you enter into, tumble out, you enter into this world, you no longer remain autonomous. Everything is constructed, everything is ready for you. So there is no such thing as human autonomy according to existentialists, and according to even post-structuralist or postmodernist. Your mind has been constructed, everything has been designed for you and designed by the society. But they accept the fact that we all do not have any kind of essence. This particular element postmodernists have taken from existentialists. Essence. Essence means nothing is predetermined, nothing is pre-designed. You get meaning only after you come into this world. Essentialism tells you that you have certain kind of essence and you behave according to that. Just as even Immanuel Kant says, he said that there is a priori, certain kind of thought, mental structures, and you will never know the world as the world is. He is talking about phenomena and noumena. Phenomena means the world that appears to your senses, and noumena means the world as it is. You will know the phenomena but not the noumena. So existentialism, as I said, is in a way makes us rethink about the very purpose and meaning of your existence. It makes you ask so many questions, and it also makes you aware about your social responsibility. Because ultimately, even Sartre realizes that no, our purpose is not simply to make choices, but we have to make choices for the betterment or the upliftment of the society. We should do something for that, and therefore he subscribed to Marxism, means ideology of Marxism. That really, I think personally, in many ways transformed the entire world. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
For the three speakers to please come up on the dais, and we can have, by the time the refreshments are served, we can have Q&A and discussion sessions simultaneously. So please Sir, please join us. Yes. Okay, but all of you ensure that the tone stays respectful but provocative, as existentialism thrives on uncomfortable questions often. Okay. So, anybody? Ma'am, raise the hand first. Ma'am, you have any question? No? Ma'am, you wanna ask first? Ma'am, raise the hand. No, ma'am,
Do existentialism accept God, existence of God?
No, they don't. This
Ma'am's
Soren
question.
Kierkegaard accepts God, but these all other, as I mentioned, they do not accept God because they do not believe in
There are
something that
theistic
is.
existentialists as well.
If we construct the world, you said, then what is the world when we thrown in the world?
Yeah.
आपल्याला
We are
मग
thrown
world
into-
म्हणजे काय?
We are thrown into this world. World means society. Society in which we live. The society is composed of a number of elements, as we say, religion, culture, norms. There are so many things that make society.
So being a woman, my essence is already predetermined. That I have to behave in such
It
and
means
such way.
existentialism accepts
No.
the
They
determined
reject that. They reject that. Essence is rejected by existentialism. They reject the essentialism. Because Madam said that this is the constructed kind of thing. So society expect that you behave in certain manner being a woman. You talk in certain way being a woman. You dress up in certain way being a woman. But Sartre or other existentialists which have been Heidegger, they say that no, you be authentic yourself. You do not want to be
what you want.
the way you are today, but you want it to be something else because society is wanting, you are just conforming to their norms. Society want me to dress up this way, I dress up this way. Society want me to say the things in certain manner. Being a woman, she uses soft words as compared to the words that the men do. Okay, the way we even walk. Okay, if you risky manner, people don't accept it. Okay, yeah, you are a girl. You should not behave like that. You should not walk like that. You should not talk like that. You should not say the things this way. So these are the things which are expected by the society, which are not authentic. We all live our lives in bad faith. This is bad faith.
It means existentialism does not accept the
Essence. Essence. They want you to make or construct your own world. Hello.
I'm loud enough. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, everyone. Sir, my question is, did Simone de Beauvoir believe in existentialism because she was a life partner of Sartre? And if she did believe in existentialism, then why did she mention that a woman is not born but made a woman? So that
That is
That is
existentialism.
because of the bad.
because she is rejecting essentialism
What she
altogether.
is doing, one is not born a woman. She rather becomes a woman. Society makes her woman.
That is the
What we
construction.
say. Only we have
Construction of the
biological kind of
society.
things. What we say, female. Female and male. Woman is socially constructed phenomenon. Just as I say, okay, one should dress up this way, one should speak in this manner, one should even walk this way, one should use such words. So these are what these are expected by the society. She is meant for woman.
So she is rejecting essentialism.
Rejecting.
Alright. She is challenging it basically.
Challenge.
The womanhood is socially constructed.
Right.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Sir, you want to
Can I?
Sir,
Yes, yes, sir.
if a child is born, you said that child is an empty slate. But what you as far as genetics is concerned, the child inherits the characters from his parents, from both father and mother.
I tell you.
Can you say that that is constructed even by the nature?
Okay.
The physical characteristics.
No.
But the child who carries that
He is talking
information.
about
Okay.
genetics.
Correct.
Genetics. You may look like your father, you may
Yes,
look like your
right.
mother.
Right.
Okay. But as far as other things are concerned,
Social things.
social things, your intellectual kind of thing. Intellect you do not inherit from your parents. Okay? Biological things you may inherit from your parents. But other things you make the choices, you give meaning to your life. Many times we do not agree with your parents, many times we do not agree with our siblings.
Right.
So every individual is unique in some way. So that is not inherited. Those things are not inherited.
You are defining yourself.
Choices can
But still, the way you think, somewhere
Madam.
you carry those essence from your parents. The way you behave, your behavioral pattern as well, you inherit somewhere, I believe.
Change
You
the
try to imitate.
change the parent. Change the parent, and you see whether they inherit or not.
No. So there is a kind of misconception because the physical characteristics that we inherit from our parents is different thing, and the way we construct a give meaning to our world after entering into this world is different thing. Therefore, many times we do not agree with our parents, though they make you to be like them. Many times it happens. Because if I am professor, I want that, okay, my son might be also professor.
this happens.
One is the rector, it is imposed upon him, and he accepts that as
Willingly, yes.
as his natural choice. It is not willingly, but he makes it willing, voluntary later on. Whatever we do not accept and are made to accept, we make it voluntary, we feel like it is willing. It is not in fact willing.
That is
But
imposed by
somebody is
parents.
thinking, somebody is making choices for you and you accept their choice.
Your choice, your own choice.
Yeah, you make it your own choice. Somebody is deciding
You try to rationalize it then.
yeah, then you don't feel like it is unnatural. You don't many times feel like, okay, no, I don't want to be like this. You did not in the beginning want to be like this, but since you accepted it, you feel that was my choice, not my parents' choice. So this is instilled into your mind so strongly right from the beginning, it becomes natural later on. Many women, their femininity, they accept that femininity very voluntarily and willingly. All the women want to be, beautiful, not for themselves, but for others. Understand? If one woman is dressed it so beautifully and nobody looking at it, it will be
Even though I am totally, I just came up from my mind since I heard you. Sir, since you talked about that literary figure and philosopher, you said that we are born as a blank slate and we don't inherit. So even though we say genetically we inherit. But then sir, what is your position on the moral values and ethics which we talk about? If everything we have to construct, if we have to understand that this is right, this is not wrong, then what happens to the moral values and ethics? Because ethics is something which is standard globally. Morals are standard globally. So if I am born without anything and everything I have to construct, you have to construct, man has to construct, everyone has to construct its own right and wrong, then what will happen to the world then?
No, that is, again we confusing one thing for other, because right and wrong is many times subjective. Many times subjective. What is good for me may not be good for you. But there are certain, I agree with you to certain extent, because there are certain things which are universal. I agree. Because if we have to be, coherent society, then we have to agree upon certain things.
Yes.
We have made these institutions. Okay, it is for us only. And to enjoy our freedom, many times we have to sacrifice some elements of it. That is also true. Once you get married, two people coming together are completely different temperament, But then they have to have the stability. Because, institution we are not completely denying. There has to be institution like marriage and all. It's alright, fine, because it gives you kind of stability. That's true. But then we make compromises. We make compromises there. You completely cannot be yourself, completely. But then living alone is also a problem. Later on, just as I talked about that lady, she got married, she has a daughter, but she has an affair with someone else. But that affair also ends up in disappointment. And therefore, later on she realizes, no, there has to be some kind of stability in life. Okay, our existence is not for ourselves only, it is also for others also, it is also for society. That way you can give meaning to your existence. Understand? So, morals again is very subjective matter because they live together. As I said, Simani Goa and Sartre, they live together. And lifetime they live together. And they had no problem because in relationship, you can respect each other, and when you feel like you are not respected, you can walk easily away. But this does not happen in family. In family, you cannot easily walk away. And in marriage institution, patriarchal society, woman is not that much respected as the man is. That also is true because many things in our family is dictated by the male member in the family even today. That is also right. But then woman also needs a man and man needs a woman. We come on the ground just as the Constitution of India, we have all these things together, diverse society, this and all. But then we make a common minimum program. Okay, these are your freedoms and these are your obligations. This is the kind of institution in which we have to understand both freedom and obligations as well.
That is freedom with responsibility.
Of course. There
With
cannot be
responsibility,
freedom
yeah.
without responsibility.
If you invoke the concept of Immanuel Kant's notion of rationality, so he says that the categorical imperative, that is the moral law, the seat of it is present in rationality, which is within you. So you can make the decisions, and this rationality is universal in nature. So the moral law is universal. So I think that can be applied.
But even
I'm not
that
saying
is,
that something is there which we take as it is.
but that is also critiqued by Immanuel Kant. He is talking critique of pure reason. Even reason is not enough. Even our experience is not enough. Understand? Both can be misleading, but then we have no other alternative. We have to
But to depend on the
understand our experiences as well as logical reason what
Yes.
madam said.
Phenomena and phenomena.
Phenomena. Because just like you have the glass, we cannot see the thing, everyone cannot see it clearly. So these are simply appearances, We people do not understand each other completely. We are just like ghosts, appear to us. Madam, we met today. How much I really understand about madam. How much I know you, how much I know my friends. How much I know you, my family members.
Even how much you know yourself.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. How much
You know yourself. I think that is
So these
the
are only the
most
things
important thing.
which appear to us, and we believe in appearances.
Existentialism does not accept determinism.
Yeah, of course. It does not accept any foundationalism, any
But so
essentialism.
many times we cannot make choices.
That is what I am saying. We live in bad faith.
So then
There we have
We do
limitations.
not make choices. Choices are made for us, and
Then-
many times we believe in divine. We said that, okay, just do it, just do it. God, I do not have to do anything. Fatalism.
Even
God wanted
Everything is being taken care by the God.
already decided. Something.
predetermined,
Ah.
predestined.
Ah.
We accept that as our faith. Many people accept that as our faith.
Ma'am has a question?
Sandy Packets. Last question,
Yeah, last question. This is the last question for now.
Good
At the
afternoon.
end also we'll have discussion. Because
My question is that how do you see existentialism in a 21st century
where the human is engrossed with so many constraints of society, in religion, caste, and politicize everything. So how do you?
I think sir can give a contemporary take because he is doing his research on that. Yeah. That's right. He is here to speak on that contemporary research.
In the contemporary context, this existential philosophy is very much relevant, I feel. Where we are living in a fragmented world, fragmented by different aspects of human life. In the age of wars, multiple wars, digital isolation, right? And mobile reels are making us to be what we are supposed to be. So in this context, I think it is very much relevant. I'm going to explore in my talk these things.
So I have one contemporary question.
Sir, after
Just it's connected. Just please.
Get to do is this thing, presentation.
Contemporary philosophies like especially antinatalism. You may have heard of it. It's the
Antinatalism.
philosophy that existence is unethical in nature. It's anti-procreation philosophy. So basically it's origin from African philosopher David Benetta and highly influenced in China, Tankin movements in China, Japan population crisis and also in Europe. So basically this philosophy is like antinatalism. What do you think? This is an extinction of existentialism or an example of existential crisis?
pardon sir, we'll get back to that question after the break. Because the guests also need a little bit refreshments. Okay. We'll be back in 15 minutes, okay?
Okay, thank you.
So, ma'am, so to the chamber, please.
Yes, come.
So, ma'am,